Now on Coast TV News.
Early voting numbers in. What percentage of people voted early in District 20 with just 2 days left until Election Day? White Marlin Open 1 day away.
Make our final decision if we can go or not.
How weather is changing this year's schedule. Early morning Ocean City water rescue. What the Ocean City Fire Department said happened.
Sunshine and low humidity continues into our money, but we are tracking some air quality concerns as well as a moderate risk of rip currents. We'll talk all about it in the full forecast.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Hundreds of boats in West Ocean City getting ready to set sail. Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson. Welcome to Coast TV News at 11. We begin tonight with the countdown to the 52nd White Marlin Open. Monday will be the first day boaters can set sail for a chance to win millions of dollars in cash prizes. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zapay shows us what's in store for the week ahead.
Grab some gear, start your engine, and set out to go fishing. The 52nd White Marlin Open will set sail all next week. Brendan Hanley is the owner of Pure Lure, the title sponsor of the event, and he says this event brings waves of people and cash.
This is one of the biggest events, hosted in the world. It's the richest billfish tournament in the world. This tournament is the busiest week of the entire year for all of Ocean City. So not only that, but it's just the trickle-down effect for all businesses it's impactful.
According to Hanley, last year brought over 300 boats for the tournament, but believes this year will bring less due to the weather ahead.
Right now, the offshore conditions are pretty horrendous.
While larger boats can still handle the weather, smaller boats will have a harder time. And one family hopes the weather holds out so they can reel in a winning fish.
Reel them in, reel them in, reel them in. We have until about, 6 or 7 o'clock this evening in order to register. So we're going to give the weather one last look later today and make our final decision if we can go or not.
Changes have been made this year to help boaters. Usually boaters can choose 3 out of the 5 days to fish, but due to the oncoming weather, Saturday and Sunday are now an option, allowing boaters to fish 3 out of the 7 available days. I'm Kevin Zapay, West Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Last year's biggest fish the White Marlin Open saw was a 77.5-pound catch by the waist knot out of North Carolina. That white marlin netted a jaw-dropping $3.7 million, making it the top catch of the 2024 tournament. In Delaware, anglers are reeling in steady summer action up and down the first state. That's according to Denrec's updated fishing report. Officials say Broadkill Beach is producing spot, weakfish, croaker, and blues. At Cape Penelope, pier anglers are mostly catching spot, croaker, and kingfish. A 12-pound sheepshead was caught off the rocks at the Indian River Inlet, and flounders are being caught in the Indian River and Rehoboth Bays, and tilefish are coming in from the offshore in the ocean. And now we're going to move to weather and take a live look outside into Milford and bring in First Alert meteorologist. And Chris, the weather's been good this weekend. I hope it's been a good birthday weekend for you, but I know there's some things brewing late next week into the weekend.
Yeah, it's been a good weekend weather-wise, but a good weekend eating for me and Brandon here at the studio. But yeah, we have some weather to talk about towards the end of next week. But boy, I'll tell you what, it has been a gorgeous weekend. We were in the upper 70s yesterday. We topped out at 80 degrees in Georgetown after a morning low of 58 degrees. And we're going to be back into the 50s again tonight. 65 in Salisbury, 61 degree dew point, so we're pretty comfortable as well. 69 in Rehoboth to 64 Milton, 63 in Bridgeville. Clear skies. Just had a few cumulus clouds, a few high clouds today. High pressure building in and locking in our weather pattern here really for the next 2 days. And then this high pressure will begin to break down as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. Now, we do have an air quality alert tomorrow for all of Delaware. That kicks in tomorrow through 12 a.m. Tuesday, and that's primarily for those with unhealthy conditions. If you have asthma, any kind of heart or lung conditions, you want to limit your time or exertion outdoors. Now, we are in for a few more comfortable nights ahead. As I mentioned, a marvelous Monday. Despite that air quality alert, we do have rip current effects taking place. Moderate risk for the Delaware beaches, high risk from Ocean City down through Assateague Island. Highs tomorrow, mid-80s. And then we watch the coast late week for some unsettled weather. We have a developing storm system off the Carolinas that we're going to have to watch pretty closely. Wall-to-wall sunshine along the coast tomorrow, highs 79 to 84. We'll talk more about the storms later on in the week, coming up in that full 7-day forecast. Brandon.
Thank you, Chris. And on your screen now, this area is where the Ocean City Fire Department says a young swimmer was rescued yesterday. OCFD says at around 9:30 a.m. on Saturday, a fireboat crew was already training near the Route 50 bridge when the swimmer in distress call came in. A rescue swimmer with the Ocean City Fire Department located a barely conscious young male. First responders say the rescue swimmer battled through rough swells, bringing the child to safety. The boy was then taken to the Coast Guard station for medical care. And this brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know how are you dealing with the rip currents this summer? Let's take a look at the updated results from our 6 p.m. news hour so far. Much of the same, the majority, 57%, saying avoiding the water, with 27% saying stay close to shore, and split for that last position at 8%. And if you haven't voted yet, you still can at coasttv.com or on our mobile app. Tomorrow night, the Lewis Fire Department will vote to elect a new fire chief following the resignation and suspension of former Chief Bill Buckalow. The election will take place at 7 p.m. with members nominating and voting for a permanent replacement. Robert Stevens is currently serving as active chief, and Buckalow stepped down after making a derogatory comment the department says was unacceptable in any context. And for full disclosure, interim chief Robert Stevens is the husband of Coast TV assistant news anchor and director Madeline Overturf. And staying in Lewis, as you can see on your screen, there's been a dispute between the city and its police union unfolding after FOP Lodge 22 issued a formal grievance and unanimous vote of no confidence in city manager Ellen McCabe. The conflict stems from recent police promotions that the union says violated city policy, bypassed competitive testing, and were made without input from department leadership. City officials say they're aware of the concerns and have begun a confidential review process. They are standing by both the city manager and police chief, but are not commenting further as the grievance process moves forward. For both full letters and statements, you can find that right now on our website, coasttv.com. There is a vacant seat in the Delaware House of Representatives, but in just 2 days, a special election will determine whether Democrat Alana Berry or Republican Nikki Miller will be the new face of District 20. As Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us, the two women each shared their future visions for the district.
A full forum with people in District 20 eager to hear what Democrat Alana Berry and Republican Nikki Miller see for the future of the area. The women are facing off in a special election on August 5th. Hosted by the League of Women Voters of Sussex County, the candidates were asked a variety of questions from the league as well as the public. When asked how would you work with Governor Matt Meyer's administration, here's what they had to say.
Any bill that I would write, any piece of legislation that I would co-sponsor or champion, I would make sure that the governor's office is in and understands the intent of that bill from the beginning.
I believe that the governor needs somebody with a little bit more experience than him in the classroom and in leadership and education to be able to support his work, obviously in a very kind and supportive way.
The two women agreed on several topics, saying both support DEI and women's right to choose. Both campaigning on strong education backgrounds, they were asked what Delaware's school funding formula should be and what next steps should be taken.
We are hurting our most at-risk kids by paying the teachers less to teach them. And then you have high turnovers because the teachers can drive a few more miles and make more money doing the same thing.
We're operating in a funding formula that is not meeting the needs of our students and our teachers and our parents today. We have got to figure out how to completely restructure the way that we fund our schools.
Two women vying for one empty House seat. In Milton, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Here's how we got here. The District 20 seat was held by Stella Parker Selby, but Parker Selby missed every single day of the legislative session this year after suffering a stroke. Parker Selby then resigned on June 24th. The Department of Elections released new numbers tonight after the 10 days of early voting. About 29% of registered voters in the 20th district have already voted. That means over 6,500 people have gone to the polls. At the Lewis Elementary location, just over 3,000 people have voted, and in Milton at Mariner Middle School, just over 2,900 people have voted. Election Day is August 5th, with many more polling places open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And for more on this special election and details on each candidate, you can check out CoastTV.com. Now to developing national news. A new warning tonight from officials that the murder suspect they're scrambling to find could return to the Montana town where he shot and killed 4 people. Kathy Park shows us the latest.
Tonight, the urgent manhunt underway for 45-year-old Michael Brown, accused of killing 4 people in a Montana bar Friday. This map showing part of Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest, closed until further notice, where law enforcement is searching for the suspected killer.
We've got a lot of expertise and a lot of knowledge of the area. We've got every cabin, every hunting site that's known up there pinned.
Today, officials offering a $7,500 reward for any information that could lead to Brown's whereabouts. Officials released this photo Saturday showing Brown nearly naked, saying they now believe he went to another location shortly after the shooting, ditched his clothes, then stole a truck.
At this point, we have every reason to believe the suspect is fully clothed, shoes on his feet, able to get around. We do know the individual had access to firearms. We believe he was probably still armed and dangerous.
You mentioned there is a potential that he could come back to the community.
Well, it's certainly something we have to be worried about, right? I mean, this is an individual who chose at 10:40 in the morning on a weekday to walk into an establishment where he was known, where he likely knew everyone in there, and he opened fire and killed everyone.
Those victims include Daniel Bailey, David Leach, Tony Palm, and Nancy Kelly, a retired nurse who was working at the bar part-time.
She was definitely a people person. She, because it is a small town, she was an oncology nurse. She treated a lot of people.
Brown is no stranger to the small community of Anaconda, an Army veteran known to law enforcement and, according to acquaintances, flagged for mental health concerns. Tonight, officials urging residents to remain on high alert. Kathy Park, NBC News.
Still to come later on here on Coast TV News at 11, the dangers of nicotine pouches after new data was released.
And our comfortable, beautiful weather is going to continue into the start of the new week. We do have some air quality concerns and rip current concerns tomorrow. We've seen more clouds late week. Also, the threat of more showers and storms late week. We'll talk all about it in my full forecast.
But first, after the break, a 100-year tradition. All the fun from this week's Chincoteague Pony Swim.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Here's a shot of the roughly 150 Chincoteague ponies taking a rest after swimming across the channel. The purpose of the swim and the ensuing auction is primarily a fundraiser for the Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company and to check on the beloved wild ponies. But as Coast TV's Madeline Overturf shows us, it's also about keeping a century-old tradition alive.
A front row seat to a sight like no other. Chincoteague's wild ponies resting and grazing on grass. After an incredible journey, a swim across the Assateague Channel. This is the 100th annual Chincoteague Pony Swim. But before we got here, we had to get here. Thousands of spectators arriving before dawn.
She planned this trip in January and said, "Mom, you want to do this mother-daughter trip?" And I said, "Yes." Yeah. It's like a dream.
Gleefully braving the marsh, mud, and muck.
The swim across the Assateague Channel is only about 5 minutes long. But for the boaters you see behind me, they've been here for hours ahead of sunrise. And it's not just hours of anticipation for them. For many, it's years of waiting and, honestly, a dream come true.
All eyes on the water as the ponies cross. Saltwater cowboys, primarily Chincoteague firefighters, ensuring each and every animal gets to shore safely. A collective feeling of joy at seeing this spectacle though everyone's motivations were beautifully varied.
I'm really excited. It's been on my bucket list literally my entire life, and I have 3 horses, and I've always wanted a Chincoteague pony, and my goal is to be a saltwater cowgirl eventually.
It was a bucket list of my husband's, and he passed away a year ago, and this was the 100th anniversary, so we decided we would come.
The swim and ensuing auction raises money for the fire department, which manages the herd.
We did $547,000 last year in fundraising with the ponies, and we're hoping to do more than that this year.
Horse lovers and those who love them in community on one small island.
That mud will wash off, but those memories you have are going to last forever.
As the ponies walk away from the channel and into town for the next few days, crowds cheered. Or even just a moment, remembering what it means to be a part of something special.
In the entire Chincoteague Island, you know, it's a beautiful place. I always would tell people during my journey, doing life, about this beautiful, magical place.
Upholding tradition, one swim and step at a time. In Chincoteague, I'm Madeline Overturf.
And if you missed the pony swim earlier this week, you can check out DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com to watch the whole swim. And full disclosure, you will have to create a Delmarva Sports Network Plus subscription to watch the full swim. And still to come here on Coast TV News, deadly flash flooding and dangerous heat. We take you across the country to look at that weather. And Chris, here on Delmarva, we're going to need some iced coffee.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to be a bit warmer tomorrow, but the humidity's still in check. So comfortable, marvelous Monday. We do have some air quality concerns. Highs around 84. We do talk about some changes to the forecast middle to the end of next week, and we'll break it down coming up after the break. Well, definitely giving the weather an A+ this weekend. Below average temperatures, plenty of sunshine, and low humidity. Now, we're going to continue the low humidity theme into Monday, but we're going to bump those temperatures up a bit than we had today. We're at 65, Salisbury, 60 degree dew point, and you can see temperatures were pretty milder at the coast. 72 Bethany, 69 Rehoboth, 71 in Lewis, cooler inland, 63 to Laurel, 62 Bridgeville, and we are on our way to, once again, mid to upper 50s tonight. So there you see, we've been in that comfy range. Now, as we get into the middle part of the week, we'll go back up to the humid range. We'll get those dew points back into the 60s and 70s, so it will feel a bit more muggy across the area. Now, we do have rip current advisories up from Ocean City down through Astig Island. High risk there tomorrow, waves 3 to 4 feet. We do have a moderate risk of rip currents along the Delaware beaches, and also a small craft advisory. Also, that air quality alert goes into effect tomorrow. Right now, air quality good, but tomorrow we will be in that unhealthy for sensitive groups range. So for those that have asthma, any type of heart or lung condition, may want to limit your time outdoors, and that's all due in part to pollutants, as well as some of the dense, thin wildfire smoke that may make it down here, all thanks to that northeast flow. Not going to be a big deal for us. I think most of this will be in the upper levels of the atmosphere. High pressure settling in. Now, we do have a coastal storm here well off the coast. This may become Dexter. That's pushing off to the northeast, but we may see an area of low pressure develop off the Carolinas later on in the week. 55 to 66 tonight under partly cloudy skies. Wall-to-wall sunshine tomorrow. Again, could see some of a hazy sky at times in the afternoon, all thanks to that wildfire smoke. 79 to 83 tomorrow along the coast. Moderate risk of rip currents along the Delaware beaches. Make sure you swim near those lifeguards tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow. Tomorrow night, upper 50s to lower 60s. I think we may squeeze out one more upper 50-degree temperature. Cloudy skies late Tuesday, partly sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-80s. And then we are looking at more of an onshore flow developing Wednesday. So I think we're going to be socked in a lot of clouds Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're going to increase our rain chances, all thanks to that low pressure system to our south. I think most of Wednesday's dry. Can't rule out an isolated shower or storm. I think a better chance Thursday into Friday. So there's that system to our south. How does it develop? Does it become more consolidated into a more potent storm? That remains to be seen, but I think it does spread some clouds and shower activity up here Thursday through Friday. Now, the National Hurricane Center, as I mentioned, monitoring that area just off to the east. That likely becomes Dexter, but this is the area that we're going to be focusing on as we push through the week. a big week in Ocean City, the White Marlin Open. We start off very nice Monday through Wednesday. Then we run into some trouble Thursday and Friday. Again, a lot of the concern is off the coast with those storms. Above average temperatures as we go into August 10th through the 16th. Below average temperatures continue. I think we'll be in the upper 70s with that easterly wind and a lot of clouds Thursday through Friday. And then we bounce right back up to the mid to upper 80s for the weekend.
Thank you, Chris. And now to weather across the nation. Deadly flash flooding and out-of-control wildfires affecting millions of Americans tonight. And millions are also bracing for the rain and threats of flooding in the south. Maggie Vespa has the latest.
Tonight, heavy downpours in the south turning deadly in at least one state. Officials in Alabama say one person died after the car they were in washed off a roadway. Some areas across that state, as well as Georgia and Florida, bracing for up to half a foot of rain or more. The Gifford fire in Central California now at roughly 40,000 acres and only 5% contained. 3 people have reportedly been injured, ranchers scrambling to save their cattle, but fast-moving flames overtook some.
It smoked us completely, as you can see. It's brutal.
Evacuation orders issued and states of emergency declared from California to Utah to Arizona, but it's Canada's wildfires that are blanketing the eastern half of the U.S. with smoke. On social media, videos showing hazy skies.
So all of these areas that used to be, safe are no longer safe.
Minnesota's air quality alert lasting a week, its longest in history. In Chicago, Cubs fans and Lollapalooza attendees are braving the outdoors days after the city clocked the worst air quality in the world, with experts calling it officially dangerous.
Why do we continuously have to deal with this?
This week has just been hazy, a lot of haze.
This summer of severe weather sparing no corner of the country. New Jersey and New York even rattled by a magnitude 3.0 earthquake Saturday.
Up next, the dangers of nicotine pouches after new data was released. That's up next on CoastTV News. In your health news tonight, it's a popular way to get a nicotine fix. Nicotine pouches continue to flood the market, and a new study shows the dangers these products are posing to young children and them who find them unintentionally ingest them. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither looks at the data and has more with the study's co-author on how to keep children safe.
In the U.S., sales of nicotine pouches have skyrocketed from 126 million pouches sold in August 2019 to 808 million sold in March 2022.
There's been an explosion of nicotine products in recent years. And we also know that there is a paucity of data looking at what happens to young children when they get into these products.
Dr. Hannah Hayes with Nationwide Children's Hospital is co-author of a study aimed at the dangers of these products in little hands. The researchers found that between 2020 and 2023, unintentional nicotine pouch ingestion calls to U.S. poison centers surged 763% for children younger than 6 years old.
And this is while ingestion rates for other nicotine products declined.
Hayes says unintentional nicotine ingestion by a child can lead to nausea, vomiting, fast heart rates, high blood pressure, and in extreme cases, seizures, respiratory failure, even death. To keep children safe, Hayes says to safely and securely store these products up and away from children and out of sight, preferably in a place that can be locked, and avoid using these products in front of children, especially if they're packaged to look like treats.
I also recommend that parents save the Poison Help number in their phone or post it in a visible place in their home and call right away if you expect a child or loved one has been exposed to a medication or drug product.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
You can reach those poison experts at U.S. Poison Control Centers online at poison.org or by phone. The agency says both options are free and confidential. And we now take a live look outside into a cool Salisbury. And after the break here on CoastTV News at 11, we have a final check on your forecast. The blessing of the combines returned to Snow Hill yesterday. The historic agricultural event honors and celebrates farmers in downtown Snow Hill. It featured ceremonies, activities, food, music, and of course, the parade of combines. Snow Hill Mayor Janet Simpson spoke at the welcoming, and this year's blessing was led by the Snow Hill Ministerial Association. There were plenty of people out there, including some attending the event for the first time.
Very excited. There's a lot going on today. Really looking forward to the parade that's coming up. There's a bunch of makers and crafts that we've been walking around looking at. We like to check out all the farms down here. I actually taught down here for a little bit, so that was part of our curriculum that we taught. So just like to learn a little bit more about it, and all of the stands and stuff kind of help you do that.
And again, yesterday was the 25th blessing of the combines in Snow Hill. Chris, we're going to have to get out there next year.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you what, a very nice night. Once again, we're falling into the mid to upper 50s away from the coast. We're looking at lower to mid 60s at the coast, still holding at 73 there in Ocean City. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, upper 70s to lower 80s along the coast. Watch that moderate risk of rip currents, and we're looking at highs generally in the mid 80s across most of the peninsula. You get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone, and your 10-day forecast shows the gorgeous weather really continuing through Monday and even Tuesday. I think we'll see more in the way of clouds though, and the humidity will begin to kind of creep up Wednesday. Onshore flow, and then we watch the threat of a few showers and storms and a lot of clouds, and then we're going to keep a close eye on that coastal low developing off the Carolinas, how it interacts and how far north it does push. And then we are looking at that warming trend next weekend, back in the 80s, and yes, it is still summer. Temperatures back into the lower 90s by early next week.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us this weekend for Coast TV News. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. We'll see you in just a few hours for Coast TV News Today, starting at 5 a.m. Have a great night.